Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you enjoy our content, please consider donating and following our socials. Now, here are your hosts, Lady Alba and Lord Knight.
So, Lord Knight, let's talk about supporting your coven, your grove, your temple, whatever you call it.
Whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Well, you get certain things from your coven, your temple, grove, whatever. We got to pick one word. I am not going to say that 12 times.
No.
So what does a person receive being a member of a group?
I mean, right off the bat, you are being given a place in which to worship.
First and foremost.
Yes, you are being given a place, a location to come together to practice and to recognize your faith. And that is no small feat.
No.
So whether it be someone else's home, whether it just be, organizers that make it possible to use a public park or facility, I mean, it's still, there's a lot that goes into that. So there's that component. With that, you should obviously feel that this is a safe,
place.
Welcoming environment. You should never be concerned for your safety or the safety of others. I've never heard of a witch church that didn't offer some form of spiritual counsel, education,
training,
and services to the community, right? Weddings, funerals,
house
blessings,
wickenings,
hospice care, wickening. I mean, not hospice care, but hospice visits.
Visits.
Yeah. All of the things that you would expect any other church to do.
And that just doesn't happen out of nowhere.
No, there's often an effort to assist those with a need. There is, I'm trying to think of what else is like standard across the board, This is silly, but like a calendar, the events, the consistency of the goings on and knowing that you can depend on them. Right? You don't show up and the doors are closed. That would be ridiculous.
Well, again, I have heard of that, of people complaining about showing up for ritual and the doors be shut, going, hey, we're not going to do ritual tonight.
Not on my watch, but okie dokie.
I mean, I do want people to understand, every full moon, every Sabbath,
every spot,
circle is being cast. Ritual is being performed.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time and effort.
So what does it mean to be in support of the church?
Well, it means showing up.
Yeah.
It means doing what's needed when you show up.
It's showing up, and in our case, it's participating. It's participating more so than we normally think of people doing when there's a congregation.
Right.
And let's be honest, right? Mainly that's because, when you show up to the average church function, there's 50 plus people there. When you show up to the average Wiccan function, there might be a dozen people there. Maybe. So there is a greater need for people to be hands-on, to help. Help could come in the form of setting up ritual space, helping with chairs, moving minor pieces of furniture, washing dishes, sweeping, vacuuming. It could be helping with food. There's a number of...
There is something that does happen in temple every so often where we'll have like guests or something, and we will assign a first degree to...
Yeah, to basically make them comfortable. It's like you're almost a buddy system, right? Like this person's brand new. They might not know what's going on. They may have questions. Right. Yeah, please take care of them. I think one that's funny, because I've seen it happen so many times for us at different functions. Somebody has to be a parking attendant. I know it's silly, right? It seems like such a silly thing, but more often than not, because, again, we're having circle at someone's home, nobody's ready for 10 cars to be in their drive. Yes, somebody has to volunteer to get there a little bit early and say, you know what, I will help with cars and parking and getting people. And sometimes I've actually seen where you end up valeting other people's cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll take them like to the grocery store up the road, let them park there, then you drive, and then you bus them back.
Exactly, or whatever it might be, or just getting the cars packed as tightly as possible. So many different things. More so than anything, that is the most valuable. The other is just the offer, right? Asking, what can I do? How can I help? Being vocal about stepping up and saying, I'm here, put me to work.
Right.
What can I do? Money. Always. Any church, anywhere, anytime.
And again, most of us who are 501c3, the donations are tax exempt.
Yes, and they go 100% to the church. And in our case, right, nobody's on salary, we all have jobs. We all have, we are all here as volunteers. So money that people spend goes to everything from consumable goods like toilet paper and paper towels and coffee and to
candles and oils and incense.
Good grief, we use a lot of stuff in the course of a year of rituals.
Keeping up with salt alone.
Decorations for holidays, activities, anytime ritual has an additional component above and beyond those norms, then those funds are used for that purpose. And sometimes those funds are used to help someone else in the immediate community that needs help. I will never forget being a neophyte.
God.
This was so funny. And Lord Min, our founder, we were all sat down. We were like, this was serious. And Lord Knight and Oswin were there, and Lord Min is on speakerphone, and he lit into us. We had a very large group at the time. We had a lot of students, and we had a lot of first degrees, and I guess people were not pulling their weight because, man, Lord Min was like, if Lord Knight needs a new pair of underwear, you better damn well buy your priest a pair of underwear. And we were trying not to laugh because, of course, that was pretty funny. But, his point was made clear that Lord Knight and Oswin couldn't possibly do all the work and they couldn't do everything themselves. And I will never forget when the call ended and we were all properly, chastised. The first thing you did was look at everyone in the room and go, do not buy me underwear. Don't ever buy me underwear. Are we clear? It was pretty memorable.
What?
Yeah.
No.
But his point was absolutely there. We sometimes volunteering means helping out seasonally on the grounds of the church, raking leaves. I remember in years past you had some trees we had to help take down on the property. Things of that nature. There's always something. There's always some project. If you are lucky enough to have ritual regularly outside, boy, does that circle need maintenance.
Yes, it does.
Holy crapola. People take that for granted. It is not going to seasonally, miraculously adapt.
Just digging your fire pit out.
Jeez.
For the 15th time. Because them things do fill up. You have to shovel them out.
Rocks and landscaping and pathways. Look, I've been to countless rituals held outside, and many, many people choose to go outside barefoot. Hey, that's discretionary. But you bet your ass somebody had to go outside and walk all the grounds to make sure there's nothing sharp, there's no glass, there's no debris, there's nothing anyone could get cut on.
And then if anybody in your temple has any special needs, elders, stuff like that, and you have to make pathways for them.
Yes. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And
just sitting down and having the meeting about security is enough to drive some people up the wall.
Collectively, I think the best way to view this is, if you live alone and you were to say, you know what, I'm going to clean my house this Sunday, and you, depending on how big your home is, right, you might get started at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and it might take you by yourself all day to clean that house. But if 3 other people showed up, you're cutting that work down significantly.
Yes.
Because of the sheer volume of manpower.
Right.
Same thing. It is the exact same logic inside of any religious institution. It does not take care of itself. And I think people take that for granted when it's a bigger facility. And they go, oh, okay, I dropped my couple of dollars into the offering bowl on Sunday. And when there's hundreds of you in multiple services, it adds up.
It's easy to come up with 1 million when you have 1 million people.
I hate to say it. Yeah. But, yes, you can pay for the gardener. You can pay for the landscape. You can pay for repairs. We don't have that luxury. We're doing it all ourselves. And even, because we have had this conversation again so many times, even if you are disabled, if you are any kind of just physical disadvantage, right?
Right.
You still are valuable. Still. I don't care what it is. And we've had so many people over the years go, I can't help. Yes, you can. We will sit you in a chair. We will make you comfortable, and we will find a task that you can participate in, because there's always something. Even if it's just licking stamps on an envelope. There's always something. Because who wants that taste in their mouth? It's gross.
But well, how many people would just sit there going, hey, candlesticks need to be cleaned?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's silver that needs to be polished. Or sometimes it is we need to send out summonses for an upcoming event. Some things are so silly that others don't even think of it. It could be as simple as, I wrote a ritual or I wrote a lecture series, and you know what? I just need somebody to proofread it.
Yep.
Find my mistakes. Help me make it better.
Look at my lack of punctuation.
Yes. There's always something. So never be afraid to ask, and please, don't ever sit there and go, I can't. Yes, you can. There's something. There's always going to be something.
And some of these, now let me say this. Some of these tasks is actually your best bet to sit there and talk to elders.
Oh, yeah.
Washing dishes with Lord Men was always an adventure.
You know what? It's funny you say that, though, because that right there is something that I've actually seen a lot in my craft upbringing that ends up being a big part of how we give back to the church. We go help the elders.
Yeah.
We go offer services to the elders in the community who cannot do it themselves. I remember painting Lord Min's kitchen. Lord Min was not actively the church any longer.
No.
But he is still our founding elder, and he needed help, so we went and helped.
Well, Lady Santana.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we went out there in the middle of the rain.
Holy moly. Yeah, we used to go to Lady Santana's house and help with an annual spring cleaning and to get her planting. Oh my God. Yeah, there was one year we were out there. It was raining. It was cold. We were all covered in mud. We were gross. It was so bad that men and women alike, none of us wanted to go inside to use her bathroom because we were filthy. And we went, we will be goddamned if we're going to track all of this into her house and then negate all the work we've done because we're just leaving her more work by, leaving a streak of pig pen through the house. So no, we were all peeing in the bushes. And
I remember that I had a sinus infection that day.
You were hurting. At the end of the day, in my first degree snark, I made a very offhanded comment, and I said next year we should make t-shirts that said, I survived Lady Santana's house. And I thought somebody at Ravenwood was going to smack me sideways for having said it. I thought I was being cute. But yeah, I think the things to know is, yes, always ask, always try to volunteer when you can. If you have children who are able-bodied, for the love of God, volunteer them. We will always take an extra pair of hands, you know.
Youth, when you're young and you're strong and easy to recover.
Exactly. We will always feed them. And don't assume. I think that's the big thing, is don't assume where you can be the most help. You know, if you show up at your high priestess's house with the expectation of mopping her floors, well, that's lovely, and your heart's in the right place, but maybe she doesn't need you to mop her floors because they got mopped yesterday. She may need something else, so always communicate. That's the big thing, you know, keep that open dialogue of what is needed and how can I be of service. Oh, we've even had fun things where, you know, somebody's like, hey, I've got an extra freezer, right? Yes. Like a game free. And so for big feasts, we will house meat for feasts at their home because it's just easier and they have the room. Things like that are great. There's always a contribution. And if you really stop and think about the kinds of things you might offer to a family friend, do you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of the same. Like, that helps you to kind of come up with, okay, these are the things that I can contribute or do or offer. Where it gets rough, I think, is there's different expectations at different groups.
Right.
Traditional groups, I will be the first to say this. Man, our expectations are intense. And I had a really hard time when I first took up the mantle as priestess because I didn't see the same level of dedication from others as what I put in when I was where they were.
Right.
And so that, and I know you've been there too. And it can be very, very frustrating, but you have to be flexible because there's some groups you show up 2 days before a major event like a Samhain or an initiation. Man, there's people scrubbing the toilets. Mm-hmm. There are people changing the bed linens. There's people, just every task, every job you can think of. There's people helping to clean every inch of that person's home.
Yep.
Some folks have a problem with that. Some people have a really big issue with this idea of, I don't know, that kind of servitude, maybe? I'm not sure what it is.
I'm not sure what it is. It's that I think people want to think that they feel like they're indentured in doing so. But it's...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it that way. I've never gone, I'm too good to scrub a toilet. If you need me to scrub the toilet, I will scrub the toilet. It's fine. I don't care. Just give me notice so I can wear something shitty. Like, that's all.
Yeah.
But I also think part of what happens is there's a little bit of, okay, we hold the temple in very high regard.
Right.
We hold all aspects of it in very high regard. So things that we might let slide in our normal day-to-day lives, we're not going to let slide at the church for an event. So, it is unacceptable for there to be dust. It is unacceptable for the bathroom to not be clean. It's unacceptable for there to be a pile of dishes. But people also live in that home. Yeah, there tends to be this bit of kickback where people are like, well, you know, I didn't wash my own dishes. Why am I going to wash yours kind of thing?
Right. And again, there's a little, you're a little unsettled cleaning someone else's house unless you're used to it.
Mm-hmm. And it just, I don't know. It always got on my nerves, really, truly. It bothered me that people kind of, and then this is another one because this happens a lot. As people elevate in degrees, sometimes they get a little too big for their britches.
Yeah.
And they start to think that they are no longer required to help with those same things. Like, oh, that's a first degree's job, or that's a neophyte's job. that shit's got to be nipped in the bud real fucking fast, because I'm going to tell you right now, as a third degree, there is no task I'm going to give to a neophyte that I wouldn't do or haven't done already. Repeatedly. Because we're not going to do that. We're not shoveling pig shit, you know?
I mean, we're not asking anybody to do anything that I'm not going to do myself.
Right. It's the difference between, is your priest and your priestess and potentially a few other people going to be up until midnight the night before running themselves ragged, or are you going to make it so that the people officiating can actually be somewhat rested and
ready to go?
Yeah. Because there's been plenty of times where immediately after ritual, I'm just like, okay,
I'm done.
I need a nappy now. And everybody else is like getting ready for feast and I'm just sitting in a chair like zoned out, and they're like, what's the matter? I'm like, I'm exhausted. I have been going for 3 days to make this possible. Enjoy
this. And again, this is all for them, not.
If you have ever hosted Thanksgiving for a large family and you have done it yourself, then you know how we feel and you know exactly what we're talking about, because that's what it's like. Except Thanksgiving happens for us at least 8 times a year. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like, it's wild. And I mean...
Well, like one of the things we've been doing is for our grand feast, we've been catering it to try to take that pressure off people to cook.
We've been very fortunate because Lord Knight's niece is a professional caterer. So the church has started paying her to cater feast. It's been phenomenal. But at the same token, it doesn't mean there's still not plenty of other stuff to do.
Right.
And part of what helps, I think, is also the designation. Like, if you can get somebody to agree to doing something and to being very consistent about it, it just makes it easier. And
it's always easier to get the incense when your herbalist is sitting right there beside you. You go, hey, we need some more full moon incense.
I even mean silly things like, if you have a space that needs to be rearranged prior to ritual, right?
Right.
A lot of us do not have, again, the luxury of like a dedicated room just for ritual space. So maybe you have a few pieces of furniture that have to be moved out.
We used to have to do that at our place
every
all the time.
If you can get 2 able-bodied individuals to agree for a year that every single ritual, they will show up 15 minutes ahead of time to move that furniture, that's huge. And you don't have to think about it.
Nope.
And then next year, somebody else can offer to do. You know, it's things like that. That consistency is such a huge thing. Samhain this year, we said, what supplies do we need? And I realized we were spending an awful lot of money in wine.
Yes.
Now, me personally, I'm not a big wine drinker. So a lot of what was happening is we were having bottles that were being opened for ritual and then going bad.
Yeah.
By the time another ritual would happen. So I said, if everybody brings a 4-pack of those little mini bottles, I have wine for at least a year right now.
And now we ain't got to think about it.
At the house, and I don't have to think about it. And they're brilliant because it's one little mini bottle. We crack it open, we pour it in the chalice, we bless it. We are good to go till the next time. But it's great. And
it drives me up the wall. I never thought of the little bottles ahead of time.
I know, isn't it funny? It trust me, I felt like an idiot too. I was like, oh my God, this is the way to go. But it's such a silly little thing that, you know, if you know you're at the grocery store, it's like $7 for one of those 4-packs. Pick one up. Pick up a bottle of wine.
I do not know how many times right before, a couple of days before rituals, I'll get a text, and which is, hey, do I need to go out and buy something for cakes?
Cakes is always a big one. So yeah, you just but you have to kind of meet people where they are, but also realize that coven stead is not operating off of magic alone. It would be nice, but it's not.
And unfortunately for us to have a dedicated place, we need funds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, funds or donations.
Donations.
Yeah. And, and hey, if you know that you have a priest or a priestess that is not as likely to be forthcoming when they need assistance, then just volunteer a little extra. That's really all you can do, because there are those of us who will be very stubborn. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. It'll be fine.
I can do everything. Yeah. I can do anything.
No, we can't.
I can. That's what they told me.
So yeah, just offer up a little extra help. Ooh, you know what else you can do?
What?
Because we always need it. Because I've never known a temple that didn't. Bring coffee.
Coffee.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning